cannot put people in time out. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Everyone. Welcome to Wisdom Channel where we tip ourselves with wisdom. We tip ourselves with wisdom. If wisdom is the principal thing, know that get wisdom. Welcome to Wisdom Channel where we tip ourselves with wisdom. Yeah. We are live now. We encourage our people to join us right now. Welcome to Wisdom Channels where we tip ourselves with wisdom. Welcome. Um, we started um, a series of teaching on know your basic human rights. Know your basic human rights. Know your basic human rights. That was the topic that we started some times ago, and by God's grace we are continuing on that topic today. I'm gonna do a recap of it. So after that recap, then we'll now continue with the 30 articles of human rights. The 30 articles of human rights. But today I want to do a recap on the previous message that I delivered on this channel concerning know your basic human rights. So I just want to do a recap of it because I want to do a recap of it because I did have some break. So now I want to do a recap to refresh our memories on that teaching. Yeah, welcome to Wisdom Channel where we tip ourselves with wisdom. And like I said, we want to do a recap on the series of teachings that we started on know your basic human rights. Know your basic human rights. Know your basic human rights. So, what is human rights? Why is human rights important? Why are we discussing it? We are discussing human rights because humanity is in crisis, and the way forward is for every woman to have knowledge about their basic human rights, and that will help every one of us, both the leader and the led, when we understand our basic human rights. So what is human rights? Human rights are the very rights every human being is entitled to, regardless of their race, gender, nationality, or any other factor. These are rights that are fundamental to every woman, meaning that this cannot be taken away or denied. There are also universal meaning that they apply to everyone, everywhere. Human rights are essentially for a fair and just society that are enshrined in the international law. How did this human rights come about? Human rights came about by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that was done in 1948. It is an important document in the international human rights law. It was adopted by the United Nations in 1948, and it sets out the 30 fundamental rights that everyone is entitled to. These rights include the right to life, liberty, and security of persons, the right to freedom of thought, conscience, right to religion, right to freedom of opinion and expression. Human rights are the essence of life. Human rights are essential for a fair and just society, and they are enshrined in international law. They are also essential for the protection of individuals from abuse and exploitation. It is important to understand and protect these rights and to ensure that everyone is treated equally with respect. Human rights is what makes life enjoyable. There cannot be lasting happiness without human rights. Human rights is the anchor of happy society, because it's the force that enforces freedom. Without freedom, nothing can be done, nothing can be achieved without freedom. So human rights are basic rights of every woman. They are very, very essential to our existence. They are God-given rights to us. Human rights are fundamental and inalienable rights that apply to everyone. Human rights are essential for the protection of individuals from abuse and exploitation. But how come? What is the genesis of human rights? Like I rightly said, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a document that was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948, and it is a milestone document in the history of human rights, and it set out the fundamental rights and freedoms that everyone is entitled to, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, language, political or other opinions, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. It is the first international document to recognize the inherent dignity and equal and inalienable rights of all members of human family. That is the genesis of human rights. The Universal Declaration is made up of 30 articles that outline the basic human rights that all people should be able to enjoy. These rights include the right to life, liberty, and security of persons, freedom from torture and slavery, freedom of opinion, expressions, and assembly, the right to work and education, the right to have an adequate standard of living. Those are the basic necessities of life. It also recognizes the right to seek and enjoy asylum from persecution and the right to a nationality. Universal Declaration is an important document that serves as a reminder of all the needs to protect the rights of the people. To protect the right of the people. It is a living document that has been used to shape laws and policies around the world, and it has been translated into over 500 languages. It is an important tool for promoting and protecting human rights, and it's a reminder that we are all it's a reminder that we all have a responsibility to ensure that everyone's rights are protected and respected. The summary of the universal human rights, the summary of the Universal Declaration is that human rights has a declaration document that was adopted in 1948. The Universal Human Rights is made up of 30 articles that outline basic human rights that all people should be able to enjoy. The Universal Declaration also is an important document that serves as a reminder to the need to protect the rights of all the people. What we are talking about is the rights of all the people, basic human rights, the basic human rights that you and I are entitled to. It is a right. It's a God-given right. The basic right, number one right, is freedom. Your freedom, it's your basic entitlement that God has given you, and you are to walk in that freedom. So Universal Declaration came to enforce come up with documents to enforce our rights, to make us understand our rights and how to enjoy our rights. Do you have a right as a citizen of your country? As a human being, you have a right. And that right can be protected from being infringed upon. So when you know your rights, you walk in accordance with your rights. You will not walk against your rights. You will not breach it. And whenever anybody wants to take advantage of you, because you're acquainted with the knowledge of your basic human rights, you will know the next step to take to secure your rights. But what is happening all over the world is that we don't know our basic rights. Every one of us, we don't know our what? Our basic rights. And that is why we have been cheated all these years, because we don't know our basic rights. We don't know our basic rights. So that basic right that we don't know, that's what we are trying to give us knowledge about it. We need to know our human rights. Every human being has a right to life, right to be protected, right to be taken care of, so right to be respected, regardless of your race, regardless of your country. So please, everyone, we are doing a recap of the previous teaching that we have done on human rights, and that is why we have come in this manner to refresh our memories of what we have learned in the previous teachings. So before we now go into the 30 articles of human rights, the 30 articles of human rights are the basic rights that every woman are entitled to. So as these teachings continue, we will be giving explanation on those 30 articles of human rights. So like I said, human rights are the basic rights of every woman, and they are the main essence of life. Without those basic rights, life will not be bearable. Life will not be what? Will be unbearable when those rights are not enforced. When those rights are not enforced. Human rights are the basic rights and freedom that belongs to every person in the world from birth to death. From birth to death. And human rights application different from country to country. It's different because you know the law application in America is different from the law application in African country. So but every country has adopted this universal declaration, and they are using it according to their law, the law of their country. So human rights are international law. They are international law because it has been adopted by the United Nations. It has been adopted by the United Nations. Humanity is in crisis without the knowledge of basic human rights. For instance, it is the right of the government to provide, it is the right of everyone to be educated, at least to have the basic education from primary to secondary school. Those ones are basic education. So, and again, without human rights, the whole world will be in shambles. So, human rights, Declaration of Human Rights, is what protects humanity from enslavement, from exploitation. So, basic human rights is what we are discussing, and is what makes life bearable for humanity. Without the enforcement of the basic human rights, humanity is in problem, because lack of human rights give room for enslavement and exploitation. But where there is enforcement of human rights, there is liberty, there is freedom, and there is progress. There cannot be lasting joy without human rights, enforcement of human rights. So we want everyone to have this knowledge of human rights. We want everyone to have knowledge, especially those of us in African countries and the other nations where authoritarian leadership is being enforced. Basic human rights knowledge will help every one of us to know our rights and to know what we expecting our government to provide for us. So that is why I take it upon myself to give these free teachings on knowing your basic human rights. I got this knowledge and I pay for it, but I'm giving it out for free so as to help other people to understand their human rights. By understanding your basic human rights will give you in better position to be able to enjoy all that nature has provided for you and I. So when we know our basic human rights, we will be able to treat other people with respect. Every woman deserves respect. Every woman being deserves to be respected. And every woman being deserves to be free. God created us to be free. We are free beings. We are free beings. Human beings are not created to rule over, to subject his other fellow to enslavement, ill treatment, to torture, all those stuff. But lack of the knowledge of human rights has given some people advantage to do whatever they like against their fellow humans. So you don't have to be a lawyer before you know your rights. You don't have to be a lawyer before you become a human rights advocate. You don't need to be a lawyer before you become a human rights activist. Human rights activism is natural. You sure you understand? It's a natural thing. Because I have that instinct for it, that's why I got connected to this kind of training. And when I got the training, I also want to train others for free. I want people to have knowledge of their basic human rights. So, like I said in the introduction, that human rights are the basic rights and freedom that belongs to every person in the world, from birth till death. From birth till death. So, and we talk about that human rights. Every woman has the right to live, has the right to freedom, has the right to good education. You have the right to be married. You have the right to for association. You have the right for your own opinion, right for your own religion. So basic rights, those are the things we'll be discussing. Your basic rights, human rights, the rights that you are entitled to, the rights, your basic human rights, the right that the nature itself, aside from the 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 law of your country, the natural law has bestowed upon you. Nature has bestowed upon you the right to life, the right for freedom, the right for freedom of speech, right for freedom of association, right to have property. So all those rights, one after the other, we will be discussing it. We'll be discussing it with one after the other. So I just try to do a recap of what we have done before, so that next week, by God's grace, we continue. We take one or two or three basic rights. Number one right, that all men are born equal. All men are born equal, whether you are, whatever your color, whatever your race, all men are born equal. The same way you are born is the same way others too are born. It's either you are born through natural process, or you are born through cesarean operation. Those are the two ways that people are being born. So all men are born equal. We are born equal. So we will expatiate on each one of those articles. We will explain it, we will dissect it, so that everyone will understand our basic human rights. When we understand our basic human rights, we will know how to enforce it. We will know how to enjoy it. So, and we also explain how come about this human right, and we talk about the Declaration of the Human Right that happened and that was adopted by the United Nations in 1948. These are the things that we have discussed in the previous video. So I'm just doing a recap of it to remind us of what we have discussed before we now go into explanation of the 30 articles of human rights. As a human being, there is a 30 articles that analyzes what your basic rights are. So by God's grace, next week we shall be continuing without any distraction. By God's grace, we shall be continuing on this teaching, and we shall be explaining to ourselves the 30 articles. 30, some people say 30, but me, I 30 articles of human rights. Yeah, your basic rights that you need to know about, so as to protect yourself. So knowledge is power. The knowledge that is applied, when you apply that knowledge, is what you call, that will produce wisdom. So knowledge applied is what produces wisdom. So please, when you come in contact with this video, please share. Let people understand their basic human rights. We want to flood the whole world with the knowledge of their basic human rights. That is the target. We want to flood everywhere, all over the world, so that those people that are still in slavery, those who are still being tortured, those who are being deprived of their rights, they can have understanding. they can have understanding. They can have understanding of their basic human rights, and they will know how to secure it. So in this episode, we discuss human rights and declaration of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Those are the two things we have discussed today, and we tell you why is it important. Human rights are the fundamentals and inalienable rights that apply to everyone, everywhere, everyone, everywhere, regardless of where you are. Then, in summary, that's what we're saying, that Universal Declaration of Human Rights is the most important document in the international human rights law. And again, we talk about that human rights are essential for the protection of individuals from abuse and exploitation. So, and we also discussed that human rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a document adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948. And Universal Declaration of Human Rights is made up of 30 articles that outline the basic rights that all people should be able to enjoy. We also said the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is an important document that serves as a reminder of the need to protect the rights of all the people. These are what our politicians need to know, our leaders need to know, so as to guide them from maltreating their people. In a democratic leadership, human rights is knowledge of human rights is very important. Human rights actions. We now want to talk about some human rights activities that are being in action. Human rights are fundamental freedom and entitlement that all people are entitled to, regardless of their race, gender, nationality, or any other status. This lesson will discuss how human rights are put into action and importance of protecting and promoting these rights. What we are doing in this channel now is to promote these human rights activities, to promote it so as to enlighten people, to make them understand their basic rights. Human rights in action can be seen in various forms. Governments have an obligation to protect and promote human rights, and this is done through legislation, policies, and programs. Additionally, individuals and organizations can also take action to protect human rights. That's what we are doing here. This can also be done through advocacy, education, providing support to those who are vulnerable or marginalized. That is what we are doing on this channel. We are trying to empower people, to give them education about human rights, their basic human rights. Human rights in action. It's important to organize and educate people about the importance of human rights and to take action to protect, to promote them. This can be done through education, advocacy, and providing support for those who are victims of human rights abuses. Also, human rights in action also ensure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect, and that human rights are respected and protected. In summary of this lesson of human rights in action, human rights are fundamentals, freedom and entitlement that all people are entitled to. Governments have an obligation to protect and promote human rights. Individuals and organizations can also take action to protect and promote human rights action. So there are a lot of human rights organizations. And I will like to talk about a few of them, maybe few of them before we go. Human rights organizations are dedicated to protecting and promoting the rights of individuals around the world. Just like we have the watchdog, we have this one that is common in Nigeria. When I remember it, I will mention it. They work to ensure that everyone has access to basic human rights, such as the right to life, freedom of expression, and access to education. These organizations are often funded by government, non-governmental organizations, private donors. They are also supported by volunteers and activists who are passionate about protecting human rights. That is about, we are talking about human rights organization now. As I am now, I can form a human rights organization. I can be an advocate for human rights protections and policy implementations. Human rights organizations are essential in protecting the rights of individuals around the world. They provide legal assistance to those who have been victims of human rights abuses and advocate for policy changes that will protect individuals from abuse. They also work to raise awareness about human rights issues and ensure that governments and other organizations are upholding the rights of their citizens. So human rights organizations, they make sure that governments uphold the rights of their citizens. That is what the human rights organizations are doing. The human rights organizations are essential in protecting the rights of individuals around the world. They provide legal assistance to those who have been victims of human rights abuses and advocate for policy change that will protect individuals from abuses. They also work to raise awareness about human rights issues and ensure that governments and other organizations are upholding the rights of their citizens. In summary of this lesson, human rights organizations are dedicated to protecting and promoting the rights of individuals around the world. That is number one. Number two, they provide legal assistance to those who have been victims of human rights abuses and advocate for policy changes that will protect individuals from abuses. They also work to raise awareness about human rights issues and ensure that governments and other organizations are upholding the rights of their citizens. You see, if we want to enjoy the service of our police, security agencies, they need to understand human rights. They need to have the guide, this 30 article of human rights, Declaration of Human Rights. This 30 article will help everybody. The knowledge of it we help everybody to be able to what? To behave well and to treat each other well. We need to be advancing. Humanity need to be advancing. And as we are advancing, we need to be treating ourselves with respect. Just recently, there's advocacy for animal rights. Advocacy for animal rights. If there is advocacy for animal rights, then the human rights need to be more there should be more emphasis on human rights all over the world. You understand? So as to curb the abuses that humanity are passing through. So we also want to talk about human rights campaigns. Human rights campaigns can be done. Human rights campaigns can be encouraged. Every one of us can be an human rights campaigner. Sorry about that. My battery. My battery. Okay, I'm trying to fix the battery. So human rights campaigns. Human rights campaigns are efforts to raise awareness, to create awareness and advocacy for the protection of human rights. This campaign can take any form, from the protection, can take any form, from protests to rallies to online petitions and educational initiatives. They are often organized by individuals, non-governmental organizations, or even governments. The goals of these campaigns is to draw attention to human rights issues and to pressure governments and other powerful entities to take action. Human rights campaigns can be used to address a whole range of issues, from the rights of indigenous people to the rights of the refugees. They can also be used to advocate for the rights of those who have been discriminated against or marginalized. In some cases, they can even be used to pressure government to change their policy or law. No matter the issue, the goal of human rights campaign is to ensure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. The goal of the advocacy is to see that everyone is treated with dignity and with respect. Human rights campaigns are an important part of the fight for justice and equality. They can also be used to raise awareness, to pressure governments and other powerful entities to take action. They can also be used to empower individuals and communities to stand up for their rights. Ultimately, human rights campaigns are an essential part of the struggle for more just and equitable world. So, human rights, you too can become a human rights activist. You can become a human rights advocate. You can become a human rights campaigner. You just like the people that are campaigning for one thing or the other in all nations that we are seeing right now. So that is it. That is it. That is the impact of the knowledge. Those people, they have acquired the knowledge and they are utilizing the knowledge. So in summary of this lesson of human rights campaigns, so the summary, the main point here is that Human rights campaigns are efforts to raise awareness and advocacy for protection of human rights. That's one point. The second point, that they can be used to address wide range of issues, from rights of indigenous people even to the right of the refugee. Then the third point, human rights campaigns are an important part of the fight for justice and equality. So from these are the things we are discussing on this channel to make us to understand the importance of human rights and the processes, and how the campaign for human rights have been done, and those who are doing it and how they go about it. So as you come in contact with this video, please share, like, so as to keep this teaching going. We love you to share it. Share with your friends, share with your neighbors, share it everywhere. Share it, let it go to the whole world, because we want the whole world to have the knowledge of human rights. We want every woman, as long as you have phone, as long as you have access to YouTube and all the other social medias, we want you to have the knowledge of your human rights. Okay, now let's talk about human rights violations. There are a lot of human rights violations. Human rights violations are a serious issue that affects people all over the world. It is important to understand the causes of human rights violations and the way in which we can work to prevent them. This lesson will provide an overview of human rights violations and steps we can take to address them. There are a lot of human rights violations all over the world. So when you have this knowledge, you will know when your right is being violated. You will know when your right is being violated. Human rights violations. Human rights violations can take many forms, including physical violence, discrimination, exploitation. These violations can be perpetrated by governments, corporations, or individuals. It is important to understand that the root cause of these violations, such as poverty, inequality, lack of access to education and health care. Human rights violation can be done by anybody. It can be government, it can be individual, it can be corporation. That is, it can be company that you work with, it can be your community, it can be even your father, your mother, your wife, your husband. They can do that violation. It is also an important to understand the legal and moral implication of human rights violations. There is legal and moral implication of human rights violations. In order to address human rights violations, it is important to take action. This could include advocating for legal reforms, providing support to those affected, and raising awareness of the issue. It is also important to hold those responsible for this human rights violation accountable. By taking action, we can work to create a world where human rights are respected and protected. In summary of this um, of this teaching of human rights violation. Human rights violations are serious issues that affects all the people all over the world. That's point one. Point two, human rights violation can take many forms, including physical violence, discrimination, exploitation. Or in order to address human rights violations, it is important to take such as advocacy for legal reform, providing support to those who are affected, and raise awareness of the issue. Now, in the next teaching, by God's grace, same time next week, I'll be talking about types of human rights violations. But today, I want to put a stop to this teaching today. What we have learned, I want, as you come in contact with this video, please, I want you to send your comments across to us on this channel. Just drop your comment with us if you have found this teaching helpful to you, enlightening to you, educative to you. So please, when you come in contact with this video, please share. We want everybody to have the knowledge, to have the basic knowledge of their basic human rights. And that is the vision. And we want everyone that come in contact with this video to please share it. Let others benefit from it. Share it to our leaders. Let them benefit from it. And God will bless you as you do so. So we have come to the end of today's teaching. Looking forward to see you next week, same time. Thanks so much. Please share, and leave your comment for us, because we are here to serve you. Thanks so much. God bless.